Hello, and welcome to Monifactory. Now, you may have heard of like Nomifactory or Omnifactory, but this is a brand new pack and it's still in beta. But it's the same pack basically, but now we're in a completely updated version of both Gregtech and Minecraft. We're in 1.20 now. So this is basically those older packs, but completely revamped to a newer version. A lot of the progression may have changed, especially to the end game, and it gets better because now there is a hard mode, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be playing hard mode. Even though we all know I have commitment issues, we're going to try. Yoink, yoink. Now, it seems as though we don't get some hammers and an axe to start with, which is kind of unfortunate. Means we'll have to do some manual mining to start off. Oh, I did not mean to eat that. Or place that down. Let me eat it. Go to the void world. Boink. Oh my. Well, I can't break cobblestone yet. I need a pickaxe. There we go. This void world is where we're actually going to be doing all of our base work. So we're going to be building in the sky, but we do have to do some mining on the overworld. So this is where our main base is going to be, and we can eat this cake to get back. So I guess since we don't get those hammers to start off with to get easy mining, we are going to have to do some normal Minecraft. Once we have some basic materials going, the first thing we'll want to find is some iron. Now in this pack, all of the ore generation has been changed. This is all of the ores that's nearby. We have this little prospector that we get as a quest reward, but this is how we're going to find all of the ores in this pack, because ores don't just spawn randomly all over the place anymore. They all spawn in giant ore vein chunks. You know what I'm trying to say? But we need to find some specific ones. I think the first vein we're going to want to find is hopefully a gold vein, which should have some magnetite in it too. So if we use our prospector, we can select one of the ores. We want gold, and it says that there's a gold vein just a couple chunks over. I think this may actually be more of a redstone vein. There is lots of magnetite though. There is only 186 gold though. Okay, well let's just dig down here and see where we're at. Now I will say that this pack is entirely playable in peaceful mode, so that's what we're going to be doing. Just in case you notice that I don't lose any hunger. Here we go, there's that magnetite vein. So yeah, as you can see, the ores are not just very sporadic. They're kind of all over the place within this big vein. So we can just mine away in here until we're satisfied. This raw magnetite, if we smelt it up, is going to give us iron, which we will definitely need lots of to start. Once we've mined some iron, we'll also need to find some coal so that we can actually smelt all the iron. Oh man, I forgot this was post caves and cliffs, so we're gonna have to really dig down to get to this. And we have found ourselves a diamond vein. That's where all this coal is down here. I was hoping to find a coal vein, but this is okay too. We can smelt raw coal in order to turn it into 2 pieces of normal coal. And we can also do the same to raw diamonds to get normal diamonds. Everything is going to drop raw ore, and then we just smelt it to get the version we need. I may actually save this diamond vein and come back later, because now that we have some coal, we're going to smelt up some iron. And once we do have some iron smelted up, we need to start making some better tools, starting with the mining hammer. The mining hammer is going to allow us to mine a 3x3 area at a time, which is going to save so much time while we're mining all of these ores. Because after we get this, we're going to need to find lots more ores. But you'll notice the recipe is a little complicated. We'll need a couple of tools along with a bunch of iron plates. So to start, we'll need a normal hammer, and then this is going to make plates for us. We'll need 2 iron for 1 plate, which won't be the case forever. There's better ways to make plates in the future, but this is what we're stuck with for now. We'll then also use a couple of those plates to make a file, which is another tool we'll need. We do also want to make a crafting station so that we have access to this chest over here. Then that way we can keep all of our tools in here and pull from them as we're needed instead of having to clog up our inventory. Speaking of using these tools, let's use them to make the mining hammer. In the future, we can repair this with iron instead of having to craft a whole new one. But now we're going to take this and start mining again. I would like to find an actual coal vein first. Normally in the game, it does give you a couple of diamond mining hammers for free to start off with. along with a lumber axe, but I guess not in hard mode. I guess it is supposed to be hard, isn't it? Speaking of hard mode, let's talk about progression and where we're going next. So for anybody that's played Nomifactory or Omnifactory before, you remember there's no steam age. It kind of just throws you right into LV once you have some iron and you start making a little bit of steel. But this one, we do still have to do the steam age. And it kind of resets it. So we have to make the blast furnace and everything. And it's a lot. This may be a coal vein right here. Nope, this is mineral sand. Dang it, they look exactly the same. Oh, wait, never mind. There's one right here. So I'm going to sit and mine some coal for a minute with our fancy new mining hammer. This should go a lot smoother. So we can get a couple of stacks of this stuff. And with a good amount of coal for now, let's go pick up an iron vein too. And as it turns out, we need a whole anvil to repair this mining hammer. So I may just end up making new ones for now. Here we have found a geothite? Gothite? Gothite? I want to call it a limonite ore, because there's lots of that here too. But all of this is iron. This is iron, and this is also, no, this is copper. This is also iron. So all of this is going to get us iron and a little bit of copper on the side. And with a broken hammer, let's take back this stuff. I would like to get a drawer to start holding some stuff like that we're getting in bulk, like cobblestone. Once we have some iron smelted up, we want to throw it back in a different furnace, which will turn it into wrought iron, I thought. Am I wrong? Ah, we have to smelt iron nuggets. Okay, that's the only way to get it. Whoops, that's a lot. And let's make a anvil so I can actually repair our mining hammer in the future. We should also find a redstone vein and mine some of this up. A galena ore vein is going to be good for both lead and silver. With some wrought iron, we get a little trophy reward for entering the ULV age. Each tier in this pack is going to be defined by what tier of electricity you're using. So to start off, we have ultra low voltage. We're going to be working with steam until we get to the LV age, which is low voltage. We're not done with the mining just yet. I would like to find a considerate sand vein as well, which is right beneath us. This vein will allow us to get tin from the considerate sand. Now that we have a good supply of all of these ores, we're going to need to start making some tools to do some tiny little crafting in order to make all of these machines we need. So we've already made a couple of these. We have the hammer and the file, and it wants us to actually make these out of wrought iron. So I'm going to have to make these again. So there's the hammer. Get a couple of plates now and make a file. Then we want the saw and the wrench. Also, these tools aren't just for crafting. They're going to let us interact with the Gregtech machines in different ways. We can make wrought iron rods with the file, and we'll use those to craft a screwdriver. And the last two tools we'll need are the wire cutter and a mortar, which you need stone for. Alright, that should be the last of the tools that we need. Now, before we can actually progress into the steam age, we need one more thing. This will probably be the last thing I do for this episode, but we're going to build the coke oven and the primitive pump. Alright, so the coke oven is going to allow us to turn coal into coke, which is a better fuel, but it also produces creosote, which we'll use to make treated wood for the primitive pump, but then that coke will also be used later to make steel. To make the coke oven, we need quite a lot of sand and clay. We can make a spade to make this collection easier. Then we'll just want to find somewhere with a lot of sand and a lot of clay and go to town. One nifty little thing you can do is if you need to calculate how many coke oven bricks you need, or everything you need for it, you can go over to the recipe tree here. And this will take you to, well, the recipe tree. And then you can specify how many coke oven bricks you want to craft. So I know that we need 29 for this. So we're going to do that. Now we can see that we need 116 coke oven bricks. But what if I want to know how much sand and clay we need? Well, if we left click on this, wait, shift left click, yeah, that's what we need. That's not right. We need the smelting recipe. Yes, you have to set this as the default. Remove this. You want to set this one. Okay, it's kind of finicky, and I'm figuring it out. But if you get that selected, then you can shift left click on this one as well, and it will tell you exactly how much sand and clay you'll need to craft in order to craft all of the coke bricks. The last trick is if you go down here to the total cost and you change this to the crafting recipe tree, it will tell you in this little menu over here once you've collected all of the sand and clay. So let me actually get rid of this. And you'll see it will tell us that we need sand and clay, but once we pick it all up, it goes away. So we've collected all of the sand and clay we need. And that will be useful when we're doing big crafting projects later on, and we need to know how much of everything we need. To make tree collection a little easier, we can craft a Gregtech axe, which basically has a vein miner ability, and it will just mine all of the trees that are connected for you. We need a flint knife, which is made super easy, along with a wooden form to craft a brick wooden form, which allows us to take all of that sand and clay we made into compressed coke clay. And again, our little menu on the side will tell us once we have enough. Cool. And then we can smelt all of this up. I'm also just going to keep making wrought iron in the background because I know we're going to need a lot of it. So might as well. Now, while we actually won't be able to use it until we start getting some infinite water, we can make our first steam machine, which is going to be the solar boiler. And this is what's going to allow us to produce steam that the rest of the machines are going to be able to use in order to work. Basically, we need steam in order to power these machines until we get to a higher tier with electricity. Steam machines are all going to be made with bronze, which is made from copper and tin. For now, we're just going to need to use a mortar in order to turn these into dust. For now, I'm going to make just enough to get us that solar boiler, but in the future, we will need lots more bronze dust. And there will be easier ways to make that in the future once we unlock like the alloy smelter. To make building a little easier, we can make a diamond wand. And anybody who's played Skyblock packs before knows this guy. We can select a whole row of blocks and build out from them. Once all of our coke bricks are smelted, we can get this coke oven up and running. We do also need the coke oven itself, which is just made from some iron plates. Now, when you're building multi-blocks in Gregtech, you want to make sure that they're not placed over chunk boundaries. So we're going to get F3 and G, and this will allow us to see the chunk borders. So what we don't want to do is build it right here. This is going to be between different chunks, and you run a very large risk of your game corrupting if one of these things breaks. So what we're going to do instead is build it in a safe spot. Even this is just safe enough as long as it's within a chunk. Our coke oven is going to look like this. It's going to be a 3x3 block with that coke oven block in the middle, and it's going to be hollow on the inside. And once we place this, if you mess it up like I did and had it face up, you can take your wrench and just click it so that it faces towards you. Once it's formed, we can start producing some coal coke. We just take some of our coal that we have and toss it in here. This will slowly convert all of this into coal coke, and we'll also produce some creosote oil. Also, all of our bronze has been crafted up, so we can start making that steam boiler. Oh geez, bad news on the solar boiler. We need glass, which you can not make until you get the alloy smelter. So we're gonna have to craft the normal steam boiler instead. Whoa, that's okay. It is just as easy to craft. And there we go. That is our first steam machine, although we can't quite do anything with it yet. With all of this creosote that we're getting, we can somehow get a bucket full of it. Yeah, we just click there. And then we'll want to turn this into treated planks. We're going to use these treated planks to craft a primitive pump, which will allow us to generate water. So let me do a little bit of micro crafting here to get all the materials needed for that primitive pump. One more tool you can craft is a soft mallet, and you'll need these for the wooden pipes. There's our primitive pump, and we just need 1 pump hatch and 10 of these pump decks. The last thing you need is the treated wood frame, but you have to be careful with crafting this because trying to craft treated wood sticks will attempt to give you sticks instead. So what you can do is go into the crafting recipe for treated sticks and just hit the plus there, and then it will make it for you. But it's still crafted sticks, so this must be broken. Oh, there we go. I don't know what I did differently. But if you get lucky, it works, I guess. Once we have all of those treated wood frames, we can craft up this primitive pump. We do probably want to build this 1 or 2 blocks up, because the fluid is going to need to come out from the bottom. But this primitive pump is going to go on the front here. The pump hatch is going to go on the far middle side. And we're going to direct that to face down. And then we'll just place all of those treated wood frames like it shows in the multi-block pattern. And once it's good, it should say that the structure has formed on top of there. And hopefully this starts generating some water. Yeah, it definitely did. We have 1,000 ml buckets of water in there, which we can pipe out with some wood pipes. So we'll just connect this under here all the way to our steam boiler. I think we want to make this go in the top though. If any of your pipes aren't connecting, you can grab your wrench and click on the side where it's going to connect. And especially to the pump hatch, you want to make sure that's connected. Let's get our steam boiler down, and it should start filling up with some water. Can you burn it? Oh, you can. Okay. So you just need to, there you go. Click on the side where the water is flowing. And if a little arrow pops up, that means that the fluid is going to be flowing in this direction, and it's not going to let anything flow back the other direction, which is good because steam is very hot and it will definitely burn all of these fluid pipes if it gets in there. So you don't want that. So once we get some fuel in there, it will start generating some steam very, very slowly. And this is what we're going to use to power our first machines. And that's going to happen next episode. This was a big one, and I plan on doing this for a while because this is really fun. So a huge thank you to Pansmith for even making this pack in the first place. This is really fun, actually. The hard mode, even. I'm having a good time, and I hope you guys are too. And I hope you, yep. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.